Welcome back to the Box Labs training series. In this video, we're going to go over the point of sale tab. So again, if we click the box logo at the top left, we're going to get the names here. It's the one with the $ that says POS. Let's close that back up. This is the section of the app that will handle everything involving scanning out over-the-counter items or prescriptions, as well as even manually adding products. I'm going to go over every function of this tab, but we'll start with the free sale entry section here. So here we can type in UPCs, we can do free sales, or we can search for products. Now obviously if you have a scanner, you can just scan in a product right here as well. For the sake of this tutorial though, I'm just going to type one in. As you scan products, they'll appear here in the queue. If I click anything in the queue, I can edit it. I can discount it, change the quantity, refund it, delete it, override the tax, or edit the product. Clicking edit product will take me here, where I can make some changes like adjusting the total price. So maybe I wanted this to be $20 instead. I can change it to 20. And if I want that to be a permanent change, I can click Force Manual Plan. If it was just a temporary change, I could just do this, click the product again, click Discount, and just do a set amount. And that'll just simply change the price of the product. Here I can also do a manual entry. Let's say something's not scanning and I don't have time to add it as a new product. I could just type in an amount. Let's say it's $2.50. We'll type in $2.50. If we messed up, that's okay. We can change it here. Let's say I meant to do $3. 0 rated, that's going to be a tax-free item. RX free sale is going to treat it as a script, which means it'll affect your reports. There's a difference between these two. 0 rated should only be used if it's an OTC item where tax is not applied. RX free sale should always be used if you're doing a free sale script. Now obviously again, you can just scan your prescriptions, but this is just going to be an option if you need it. Product description, we could give it a name and then just click confirm. Now if we scan a prescription, it's going to automatically link with the patient profile. Let's say I scan a prescription that's $4.11. It'll come up something like this. So you'll have the RX number, and it's going to pull the patient for you automatically. So your screen will look something like this. You're going to see the patient on the right. You have some options here. We can click Pick Up RX. This is going to allow us to search for other prescriptions that they might have available in a certain date range. So maybe they're picking up one from last month. That's fine. We can do that. And they might show there, and we'll select them and click Select. And that'll populate the queue with their remaining prescriptions. Now this is a good option if you have a patient with several scripts and you don't want to scan them all. We'll also be notified here of any clinical intervention opportunities, like meds checks. We'll get into clinical interventions later in the series, but right now we're just going to focus on the POS. We have a couple options here as well with this down arrow. I'd recommend experimenting with them, but we're going to go over the main one, which is adding credit or paying invoices. So in Box, every single patient has a built-in account balance. You can see this patient has a $0 balance. We conveniently put a button here so you can click it and you can actually see any outstanding invoices. So anytime a patient is selected at the POS, you can actually select on account as a payment method. Let's go see what that looks like. So if I click continue, I can see all the payment methods here and I see on account. So I can select that and just click complete order. And now that patient has a balance on account and an invoice that we can see and pay a certain amount or the full amount for. Now the other option, of course, that's pretty common is credit. Now, if you have an integrated payment terminal, which a Box Labs technician will set up for you, you'll see an icon here to send to the terminal. So what you would do is you would click the option for credit, and then you would click the little terminal icon. And that's going to send it to the terminal and await the customer's completion. Once that's completed, the transaction will automatically complete and print the receipt. Now, if you don't have a semi-integrated terminal, that's fine too. We can just click credit card, have the patient complete it on the terminal, and then we're going to click complete order when we're done. So for example, I can click complete order here. I have the option to toggle the receipt on and off if I want it. So for the sake of this demo though, I'm going to do on account because then I can show you what that looks like after. So let's get rid of that. If we want to get rid of one, we could just click the trash icon there. I'm going to click on account. I don't want the receipt. I'm going to click complete. So now that order's done. So there's a few ways we can check the account balance, but for the sake of keeping on track here, we're going to stay on the POS tab. just because I can show you other ways to check that later in the Patients tab. So let's add customer. Let's add the customer we just had. And now we can see that account balance. So let's say the patient's coming in later to pay that off. We can click that, and we can click either a fixed amount or just do the outstanding invoice. So we can see what was charged on account. We can click confirm, confirm, and now we have the payment here. We're going to click continue, and of course, just like before, we can choose a payment method. But of course, you cannot pick on account for an on account payment for obvious reasons. Complete. Now we're back at this screen. So that's basically how you just check out a patient. But let's see some other things you can do. So an important thing to know is that these three dots at the bottom right corner are going to allow you to do things like clear the queue, put a transaction on hold, open a transaction on hold, and do an end of day settlement, or even open the cash drawer. Now there's shortcuts to these as well, but the main ones I tell people to use are just Control-C will clear the queue, and Control-P will open the cash drawer. Those are the only ones most people are going to use frequently. Now, let's take a look at the end of day settlement. The way it works is it's just going to tell us how much expected cash. In this case, I've done no cash transactions, so it's going to say $0. But let's say it said 100. I might count my way down the bills. So maybe I have like two $20 bills, I have 5 $10 bills, etc. And I'm moving down the list. It's going to calculate, and it's actually going to just tell me how much I am over by or under by. And then we'll click finish close cash, and that's going to take you to the end of day report. I can get into this more later with reports, but for now, it's not too difficult. This is how we do it. Now we also have a transaction search built into the POS tab. So if I click this TX button, I can search a transaction. This will just pull up the transaction, allow me to void or refund it. We also have some additional customer options, like adding a native status. So at the top right, I can add native status. This will work even if I don't have a patient selected. So even for like a walk-in patient that's just buying OTC, we can still do this and attach it to the order. We can also delete the patient from the screen here. So this will just delete it. And then of course we can search for narcotic signatures here. So this is a good method if you ever need to verify that a signature was collected. You could put the RX number in here, search it, and see that. Any patient who's picking up a narcotic, you'll be automatically prompted to collect their signature at the point of sale. So you'll see a big button here near continue that says capture signature. You'll click it, and the patient can sign on the patient-facing screen. The last thing to note on the POS tab is this pencil icon here. Picture this icon as a way to discount the entire order, not just one item. So we talked about it before, where if I type in an item here, I can actually discount it individually or override tax. This icon will allow us to do the entire order at once. So if I wanted to discount $5 from the whole order, that's going to apply. So you can see the little $5 next to the discount. And this is good if you just don't really care what in particular you're discounting and just want to apply a discount to an order. That's all for the POS tab. In the next video, we're going to go over the Patients tab. Thanks for watching.